Hey everyone, so it's Friday, June 23rd of 2023, and I'm just out here. I have decided, even though I had set some different intentions for myself for what I'm going to get done today, I decided that I am absolutely going to make sure that my last potted giant colewort gets put in a place where it can put in some deep roots before the heat really starts blasting us. So I'm just over here by my mailbox bed that is not ready to get planted yet. And now the giant colewort gets really tall. And then I also have some other things that can get really tall, like my push carmel, and like valerian gets 5 foot tall. So before I went in to start peeling some tape off of some cardboard, and I'm gonna have to peel some tape off some more cardboard because my tiller's broke. So I need to build up a mound because this area gets super wet during certain times of the year. And although some plants like that, some plants don't. So I'm gonna build up a mound, and it's gonna take me some time. But I asked these critters here, it's been over 5 minutes ago, I asked them to kindly please wrap up their business and vacate the premises so that I could squash this weed down. And it's just, they just wiggled their little antennae at me, and they're like, "No, I'm sorry. We're just sticking around." Okay. So one of them is quite orange, and the other one is paler. But apparently, this is how these ones do their business. It's like one of them, the wings are actually tucked under the other one, and apparently, this is a very lengthy process. So I'm just gonna have to work around these critters if they're still out here, so that they can procreate, and they're just trying to be fruitful, I guess. Anyways, this is where my giant colewort bed is going to go with some other things. I haven't looked up what time of the year the different things bloom, so it could be a little bit crazy. But again, I also want people to be able to get a good view at some of the plants that I sell as they mature and grow up. So it's going to be a roadside advertisement bed. And since like the push carmel roots, for example, are medicinal, I believe, and since it's the actual plant body of the giant colewort that is edible, I did want to make sure I got it far enough away from my septic drain field. Okay, because you don't really want to necessarily be eating plant body stuff and roots that are in your septic drain field. Okay, so I mean, the plants do help process that stuff, but even I have my limitations on how I want to do things. So anyways, I'm going to be squashing this stuff down, except for my little procreation zone over there, and putting that bed in over here. I'll check back in with you later. Well, easily another 15 or more minutes has gone by, and our little bug friends are still doing their thing. So I just decided to set the giant colewort a little further back, and I did kind of pull out the grass over here and then loosen that up. And then also over here, I had this beautiful clump of these yellowy, I don't know if it's called a sedgy thing, I forget what these are called. And then it puts off these dainty little things, and I really love these. So it wouldn't quite fit in my pot the way it is, but I decided I'm going to save that and not cover that up. And I'm kind of been hunting around to see if there's anything else I want to pull out of here. But there's this other grass, and I think I mentioned it before when I was down in here whacking all this stuff back. Now I gotta be careful because there's willow branches sticking up out of the ground everywhere over here, and then further over there I had like a thick dead branch of something. It came all the way through my shoe because I just got these on right now, and it stabbed me in the foot. But I gotta pull this rogue willow out. But look at how beautiful these are. I forget what they're called, but they have these triangular stems, and they're so beautiful. So I usually try to mow around these, and I'm really disappointed because this is the only one that I see popping up over here this year. They're a perennial, but I don't know if just the grass overgrowing or maybe there was some hiding in here. We'll see if any more pop up. I may try to plant some of them seeds someday. I really like those. But anyways, basically anywhere I put in a plant, even though I'm going to be building up a dirt mound, I have limited amounts of dirt right now. So I brought some over with me. So I'm not sure how many plants I'm going to be able to get in over here, but I am at least going to try to find things to weigh down the cardboard, and I am going to get my giant colewort in. Look at how big and beautiful this is, and I just know it wants to put down deep roots because this is an early wilter. So I'm going to have to keep it water until it gets going good. The water table isn't too low. Like, the water table is kind of high in this area. Again, is why I got to put it on a mound, because certain times of the year this whole area will be kind of like a little bit mucky with water. So anyways, I'm going to hop to it. So first I'm just putting this down real rough like, and then I'm going to plop the dirt over there and set this entirely above ground over here. Oh, I lied, since I do have some height on my pot here and limited amounts of dirt, especially right now until I can get to some of my lower priority dirt removal tasks, which I'm going to be doing later in the year because I do have some areas that I need to have some dirt taken up off of. But this is just, I'm just going to set that down. I did go ahead and dig this out just a little bit because I'm not sure how massive a dirt mound I'm going to be able to get around it, and I don't want it to dry out super fast. Now, it's going to be a while till I actually have dirt to cover all these pieces of cardboard, so I'm going to have to go around and find things to weigh them down just so that I can start killing off this grass underneath. Well, before I pull this out, I mean, I don't recommend anybody handle their plants like this, but before I pull this out, I did just want to show you guys that I've got roots coming down through the bottom of here already from the time that I potted this up into a bigger pot. Okay. Let me see, I'm going to just go ahead and try to pull this off real careful and see if this dirt will hold shape or not. Sorry for the bad camera view right now, but I don't have anything to, let me keep this on. So this is how my roots are looking on this right now inside of the pot, just from the time, I don't remember the date, but just from the time that I potted these up, that I posted the video of that. Okay, now this plant has been wilting really easy when it gets warm out, now that I have it in the sun. So I'm going to have to water it diligently, but I can tell it wants to put down some really deep roots. I'm just going to very carefully, just in the middle, just loosen that up just a tiny bit before I put this in. Whoops, sorry. Now, even though I had kind of dug very little bit down in there, I decided to go ahead and fill that divot with some nice loose potting mix so that those roots that I just loosened on the bottom can start their journey downward easy just that first couple days, and then I'm just going to mound it up. Well, I wasn't sure how much they had broken down since I had my Hibbertia in there, but I did have a whole bunch of dead leaves on my front stairs I had swept up that I mixed in. Well, it looks like I got some ants too. I gotta be careful. But I had mixed in a bunch of dead leaves into this box over here because I was being kind of cheap with my potting mix. So it will have a pretty good amount of organic matter in here to rot down. Well, this is just sort of what I have right now in terms of cardboard available, and you know, our little friends over here are still doing their thing. I don't know, I can't even get it to focus on them. Their wings look kind of funny. I've been trying not to invade their privacy too much, but I'm a little upset that they didn't vacate. Anyways, this is gonna work out just fine. Now, I don't really have enough cardboard to do what I want to do as far as getting my pushcar mule in, or like my valerian and some other flowers around here. And I haven't really decided how I want to set those up yet anyways, but those are probably going to do better in pots, whereas my giant colewort was to a point where even when I watered it, you know, it was still wilting, and I didn't want to have to put it just straight up in a pot of water because it obviously wanted to be growing some bigger roots. So I have just a little bit of dirt left over there that I'm going to put on here, but unfortunately this fill that is over here, some areas of it does have a lot of dirt mixed in. So you'll see it does end up growing stuff in here. So eventually I'm going to be kind of putting down some grass when I have some more dried grass to put down. Well, maybe I'll bring some of that hay over. But I will be working in some organic matter. But for now, I'm just going to be putting some of this down just to weigh down that cardboard to keep it flying away. And then it'll also lower how much dirt I need to build up my little mound. Okay, but I do have some agricultural molasses that I've had unused that's still in the house. And so at some point I will also end up fertilizing this with agricultural molasses once it gets some organic material up in there, so that I can actually start to get some more life in there. But I was surprised I did actually find some earthworms and stuff in this fill, so I think it's going to be okay. But I don't want my cardboard to fly away. So anyways, maybe I'll just take a quick video of that and then be done with this. Wow, you guys. I was just taking a break, and look at what I got over here. Oh man, you can't see him very well. He's sticking his head up out. Oh no, that's a rock. Now he's back under the water. Oh, there he is. He's right here. That's a huge turtle. He's huge. Where did he go? Oh, there he is. Did you see him? He's about to go up that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. But he's huge. There's not a big shoulder on this. Well, I wasn't paying attention. On this bridge, there he is. He's kind of underwater, but he's looking at me still. It's funny. It's right over there. Hey, buddy. But anyways, the shoulder is not very big, so I gotta get out of here before like a big truck or something tries to come by. But I hadn't seen one that big in the area before. And he's still just looking at me from under the water. But yeah, I just wanted to take a quick break. Now, the crazy guy over there that tried to steal an acre of my land owns a little nub over here on the creek before it curves into my property for a little while, and then it curves back away from my property. So I don't get to cultivate all of this, but also it is so extremely fragrant right here. Oh, I gotta hop over because there's a car coming. Wow. But these are some sort of wild roses. I don't know exactly what they are, but they are in the rose family, and they've got these thorns on them. But I can't tell if that's... Oh, see, they're kind of on the aster. I can't tell if that's what it is. That is so fragrant. But it smells amazing. And it's got this crazy autumn olive growing next to it. And anyways, around here, you know, this used to be a fishing stream at one point. I don't know if it ever gets deep enough now. It's actually really low right now. But people are allowed to just access the creeks from a person's property on the edge. Okay, so it is a bit steep here. I do have my one evergreen over there that I replanted. The county will go through, now my property taxes here are under $1,000 a year, but the county, they do work pretty hard, and they'll go through and they have this giant claw machine that they'll claw next to the road, and then sometimes they spray and mow next to the road. So if you don't want them to do that on your property, you have to like put up signs almost to keep them from doing that. But in any case, I do have a little bit of a ledge over here, and I'm thinking at some point when I get to a place where I can do this, I want to, over here, put in a little dwarf fruit orchard. Because people do come stop here all the time and check the creek level, and people will be like, lady, why are you gonna plant fruit for other people to steal? Well, you know, I figure if they want to take the fruit, then they probably want the fruit and might even need the fruit to have a healthy diet. And I also see it as a form of tithing. So what people don't steal, I can pick and share with the neighbors. So anyways, I've decided that that's what it's gonna be. I gotta get through here with a brush cutter. And part of what has inspired this new idea while I'm just taking a break from this fill, because this fill, man, you guys don't even know, just to do that small little part by my neighbor's mailbox took me forever, because some of this fill is really hard packed right now, and I'm tired. So this is a little bridge that the neighbor who was trying to steal my property, that he actually put up that sign too, which, you know, is very illegal to put up a no trespassing sign on somebody else's property. But I had it covered up for a long time to let him know that this is not your sign, buddy. This is not your land. But anyways, his bridge kind of got covered up with gravel too, which I'm quite all right with. But the reason why I want to go ahead and put a little dwarf orchard in through here at one point is because I'm basically never going to be able to get 100% of this washout off of my property. So as you can see, there is like a little divot that comes through. The divot on my side of the road isn't so deep, whereas there's actually like a big old creek on the other side. We have so much water in my area that it's very common that this whole region, in the Rifle River region, we have these divots on the side of the road to help channel the water. So unfortunately for me, because I have this divot and then I have this comes up into a short ridge and then it dips down, this area over here does end up collecting some water, and then it kind of slowly percolates down my property through the creek, which has its upsides and downsides, but the wildlife just love my property and I love the wildlife, so it works out in a way. But this ridge, it's like I couldn't cut it too deep, so you can't really tell how deep it is, but it's like the highest points would come up to here, like just under my knee, just right on the other side of this. So it's just actually really steep. I'm never going to be able to get rid of it all the way. Now my willow tree loves water, so I don't mind having water coming through here. But I'm going to take what I want of this fill for other projects that I feel like I can reasonably, with my amount of physical energy, take. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to work to just kind of maybe flatten it out a little bit. And then at some point I'm going to start building up some, because I don't want them to be right next to the road. If I put smaller trees, they won't have the branches growing into the road. But I feel like right here and then in through there I can put some little trees. Or maybe even just some like bush cherries or something. But once I take what I want, I'm going to level it out and then start putting organic material down. And then eventually, because I'm not going to have the trees for it for a while. It might even be a couple years. A few years maybe even. So this whole area is just going to be a little partial orchard. I don't know. I don't want to cover up too much of my frontage. I do want to leave some space, and like I planted my one river birch over here, and I'm reserving my other one to plant in here so that there is continuity in my property, because for some reason there is something inside of me that is still jealous over this part of my property that touches the creek after that man was so aggressive and rude and just really inappropriate with me trying to steal my land. I feel like I want it to be very obvious, like this is my land. Every time he drives by, I want him to be reminded that this is my land and I'm going to do what I want with it. Because, again, he was out there revving chainsaws when I was outside working and stuff like that without even saying hello to me. He was on my property revving chainsaws at me. So I still feel bitter and a little jealous over my land. So I am going to go ahead and cultivate this beautifully, and I want it to be part of the overall abundance of my property. You know, there is this pear tree by a barn, and there's no house on the property, it's just farmland and a barn, and it's got these huge pear trees that just drip with fruits, and I always wish I knew the guy's number or something so I could ask him if I could just buy a few pears off of him. Because the little kid inside of me just wants to go pick one, but I know that's not right. So anyways, there are a couple kinds of pears that are good for hand eating. As I mentioned before, I can't remember if it's the rescue pear or the orchis pear, but I didn't cage mine properly and it's dead. But eventually, one of these years, I'm going to get another one, and I probably will have those by the roadside so that people can just pick ripe fruit and then eat it straight off the tree. But anyways, I just have tiny little bits of fill over there so far. Frankly, this is so hard packed right now. I'm hoping it loosens up after the rain, that I'm just going to get just enough to weigh down my cardboard, and then I'm going to be done. Well, anyways, I did just add just a little bit of dirt over there, and I got to go plant this little grassy sedge thing in my rain garden. But, you know, before the detour and before people who aren't my neighbors basically started using this road, I used to not get so much of this, and now I've got people, this looks like tobacco spit or something in a bottle, okay? And the thing is that I've had some people before, like while the detour was going on, throw trash in my yard that if I wouldn't have seen it, it could have wrecked my mower. So I'm feeling a little, because so that spittle bottle is new. This is not new. This, I don't know, I didn't see it before, but that spit bottle is new. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a clear bag, and I don't have any posts, but I'm going to sink like a willow pole or something in the ground over here, like with a Y on the end. And I'm going to put up a sign that says, "Don't be trashy, keep it classy, no littering, please." So that if somebody wants to be a piece of shit, at least they're going to know that I think that they're a piece of shit. Anyways, take it easy, y'all. Well, you know, I'm always faking you guys out on whether or not my video is going to be over, because I just kind of stitch these together. But anyways, I just haphazardly popped that in over here, and you know, in this area I had put some different things in besides just these daylilies. I have no idea what that thing is, but there's a couple more. It looks like my peony plant that I had over here. I can't remember if I moved it. I think it just didn't live. Anyways, I guess the tobacco spittle bottle is kind of just what put me over the edge on the litter bugs, made me so grumpy. I feel weird talking about it, but my ex-husband used to chew tobacco, and he hid it from me until we got married. And it's funny how some people, like, once you tie the knot, it's like everything changes. He was one of those people. So that man was not a nice man, and he really enjoyed terrorizing me. And I remember, especially in the beginning, when I didn't know that he was like chewed a lot of tobacco, I would go to dump out, like, you know, it seemed like it's just like a beer can or a soda can. And so before you put it in the recycle bin, you just pour the extra out, you know? And then all this just nasty stuff would come out, and it was disgusting. So the spittle bottle put me over the edge. But anyways, they're gonna get a nice trolltastic sign out of it, these litter bugs. But over here, since I'm trying to get all these out of the pots, I've got some motherwort. Now I did start, since I was so tight on space over what I was going to be able to drive across the country, I would start like multiples of these in one little pot, and then I'd have to, since I didn't have enough pots, I'd have to stick them all up in here. So even though I've got numerous plants in here, I think I'm only going to be able to divide it into 3 little chunks. I was hoping for 5, and then I would do boom, 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 and then do a couple behind there. It says it wants about 2 feet of space in between. It has various lights that it can grow in, including shade. So even when I put my peach trees up right over here, it's going to be just chilling. But it gets about 5 foot tall. So I'm just going to pop these motherworts in and water them in. Well, anyways, I've basically committed what is tantamount to plant abuse, because when I potted these up, I didn't have enough individual pots, is why they were all stuck up in the one big pot, even though I did split them up a little bit from the even smaller pot. But I decided, I could actually split off 5, get 5 off of here. I kept this one in a bigger clump, and it's got a really big root clump off of it, because there were even some roots going to the bottom of the pot. However, some of these, they were like splitting off, and I couldn't get tons and tons of roots off of them, so I did have to pinch off some leaves so that they will be expirating, or like losing less moisture, I guess you could say, so that the roots will have more time to catch back up. And it is kind of like a spindly little thing right now, but it's supposed to get 5 foot tall. Motherwort is a medicinal, and it's got some different uses, but is also good for women's health. So for a man, I wouldn't necessarily recommend a whole lot of it, even though it can help with like heart irregularities from anxiety and stuff like that. But it's also for like uterine health, and can induce menstrual bleeding, and has weak soy-like or weak estrogenic qualities. So some people use it for menopause. But the thing is I had tried to plant this years ago, after I first moved in here, because I had found some packets of seeds in my dad's cabin after he passed away, and there was a lot of different, even like woodlandy type perennials in there. And so I went through and I tried to plant a bunch, and it just didn't work out. I think that some of those seeds might have already been even 6 or 7 or 10 years old, maybe. Some of them might have even been, like 10 years old. So it didn't work out, but I had originally wanted to see if I could get some growing over there, but now I've got my bamboo and stuff. So I figure this is a good space. I'm just going to step out of here real quick so that you all can get a better look, and so that I can have a better record of just what this space is like. I told myself, well, I'll trim some of these later, but since this one in the middle has already been trimmed, and these have space to grow that 5 foot tall without hitting any branches in this area, is why I went ahead and just stuck them in the ground right there. And I did keep them kind of in little divots, because this area is sandy, very dried out. There's a lot of these roots, so I am going to have to come in and water these, probably even when it rains, until they're very well established. But I've already got to water my black pussy willow over there in my ditch. So I've been doing a lot of watering in this area in general with my peaches and everything. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna intervene a whole lot as far as mulch yet. I'm gonna keep a very close eye on them and see how they do. And then if I need to intervene and bring some of that old hay over and mulch them out with that, I will. I mostly just went through and picked out the baby autumn olive plants, because those, so these big bushes back here, that's what these are, is these invasive autumn olives growing under here. So those are one thing that will take over and shade these out. And see, I got to dig those up right now. That's an autumn olive. But other than the autumn olives, I'm just going to kind of see how they do before I intervene any further, because this space is going to be kind of naturalized, and it's just going to get a bunch of different kind of shady area type herbs and stuff put in here. Anyways, I am going to just go ahead and splice these videos together and post it up, because I don't know, maybe I'll get out the brush cutter later, maybe not, maybe it'll rain, maybe not. I don't really know what I'm going to do with the rest of the day. I'm tired. So we'll see. I have to I've been digging really deep to try to get some stuff done, but I'm also really exhausted on many different levels right now. So I don't want to burn out either, because, again, I've got stuff I got to take care of before the birds come in and all sorts of stuff. So anyways, today I got my last potted greater sea kale, also known as giant colewort, planted. Then I got my motherworts in the ground, and I'll see see what else I can get done. Well, aside from these things, and I did flag some of these years ago when I put these in, the mulch that was on here is probably a good 4 years rotted down now. But the autumn olive that I just dug up, okay, there was a flag, and I was like, oh, was a flag there? Did it destroy whatever the flag was on? But then this thing was popping up. Okay, so I had put in different bulbs, just inexpensive bulbs from Walmart quite a while ago. And then I saw, well, I got some more flags, and I got some of this stuff popping up, and I got this little thing popping up. So now I usually save the bags and like the tags and stuff. You know, some of them I kind of leave them hanging on the plant, but these just came in a bag of bulbs, so I gotta go dig in through that and try to figure out what these are, waiting until they grow up a little bit. But it's kind of exciting. I just kind of try to pull some things out around them a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. But this definitively concludes this video for reals this time. Take it easy, y'all.